Hello there. Okay, so here's the next video for Unit 4. We're talking now about characteristics of a graph. The first one we're going to talk about here are the intervals of increase and intervals of decrease. Okay, so first of all, intervals of increase. Let me trace here the part of the graph that's increasing. Now think of this as a roller coaster, and the roller coaster is always traveling towards the right. So as I'm traveling towards the right, I'm increasing, increasing up to there. And then I go down, and then I go from here, increasing. So just imagine that roller coaster. So for the intervals of increase and decrease, you're always talking about the x values. So for which x values are you increasing? Okay, so you increase all the way up to 1 and from negative infinity. So from negative infinity to 1. Now remember, we always use our rounded bracket when infinity is involved and when negative infinity is involved. And at 1, what happens exactly at 1? Well, right here at 1, for a brief second of this roller coaster ride, you're neither going uphill nor downhill. It's just completely flat, just for a second. And now because of that, we don't include 1 in our interval of decrease. We do a rounded bracket there. Okay, now this means all the numbers from negative infinity to 1. So you're increasing from negative at negative 2, at negative 3, at negative 50, at 0, 0.9999999, but then at 1, you're neither increasing nor decreasing. Okay, now your other interval of increase is from 3 all the way up to positive infinity. Again, we don't include the number 3 because at 3, it's flat. That part of our roller coaster is flat. Okay, then all the way up to infinity. Now, the way I combine these two different intervals is with the letter U, big capital U there. That U stands for union, so it's the union of the two sets. Okay, so now let's talk about intervals of decrease. And the intervals of decrease, this is when the roller coaster is going down, like that. And it's going down from positive 1 to 3. And that's it. Okay, intervals of increase, intervals of decrease. Let's talk about a few more things on this graph while we have it. Let's talk about the x-intercepts. Okay, the x-intercepts are where it crosses the x-axis. And the x-intercepts are going to be right there at that point, 0, 0, at that point, 2, 0, and at that point, 4, 0. Okay, now notice all of these points have zeros in them. So sometimes we call these the zeros, or sometimes even the roots. And we can write these as x equals 0, 2, 4. So I just want to make sure we see this distinction. 0, 2, 4. The x values are the values of x for which y is 0. 0, 2, 4. Okay, so x-intercepts and the zeros, they're really similar, but they're slightly different. X-intercepts are coordinate pairs, 0, 0, 2, 0, 4, 0, coordinate pairs, whereas the zeros or the roots is just the x value, 0, 2, 4. Okay, let's do another example here. Okay, so let's do this guy. Okay, 5, 6, 7, and let's have this be 10. Okay, so first of all, let's do intervals of increase. Intervals of increase are, let's trace this here in blue. Increasing there. So again, intervals of increase, I'm only talking about the x values. And so from negative infinity up to 5, I'm increasing. And now for intervals of decrease, just one interval here. My interval of decrease is from, oh, did I say 5? Let me go back, sorry. I should have said intervals of infinity to 6. Okay, now decrease is from 6 to positive infinity. Okay, now for my, let's change color here. Let's do x-intercepts. Remember, x-intercepts are coordinate pairs. So this is going to be 5, 0 and 7, 0. Now for my zeros are just the x values, x equals 5, 7. Okay, oh, another thing let's do here while we're talking about characteristics of the graphs, let's talk about the max. So the max. The max is how high the graph is. Okay, so as you're on this roller coaster, what's the highest you are? So max, this is the y value. So you would say something like this. The graph has a max of 10, right? This point is 10. So it has a max of 10. It has a maximum height of 10 when x equals 6. So this is how you'd say the max. The graph has a maximum height of 10. That's as high as it gets, maximum height of 10, when the x value is 6. Okay, that's it for characteristics of graphs.